It's been about a full 24 hours since the news dropped that Trump is facing 4 additional charges in regards to the January 6th, whatever you want to call it, picnic at this point in time. It really doesn't much matter. Oops, if you go ahead and mischaracterize it, you might end up getting slapped with a lawsuit. But frankly, I don't really care. But I've been bantying about the 4 different charges that are there, a whole bunch of conspiracies, attempts to obstruct, another conspiracy, fantastic stuff. But you know what's missing from that? Anything that is actually substantive. And as many other legal experts have pointed out, none of those charges, even if Trump does get indicted on it, and God, there are so many holes in all of this. I'm sorry, convicted. He's been indicted by this, and it's just a weird scenario all the way around. But none of the charges, if he gets found guilty on any of them, of all of them, it doesn't matter. It doesn't preclude him from running in 2024. So you know what's going to end up happening on this? It's just going to end up boosting him in the polls, and it makes the establishment look even more desperate. And yeah, I've been thinking about this, how I want to cover this. And this is ultimately going to be one of those things where I'd like to, get a bunch of different sources. Maybe you do a stream on it, but your boy's going to be busy for the rest of the week. So who knows? I'll eventually get around to it. But as it sits right now, I think Clay Travis has a very good take on this, which he's been a little bit flumpy when it comes to his overt disimping. But hey, you know what? Hey, a broken clock can be right twice a day, and it really doesn't much matter. Some of these guys that are out there with their misguided perceptions on DeSantis, all they need, it's not so much a broken clock as the battery's just a little bit out right now. They just need a new AA. So Clay Travis, Joe Biden, who ran for office claiming that he wanted to preserve American democracy, which America, I think everybody knows, it's a republic, it's not a democracy, you assholes, is now attempting to put his chief political rival, literally the only one that's out there, let's keep it a buck, in prison for the rest of his life. Something that has never occurred in 240 years of American history. I just went ahead and editorialized it a little bit, but no, he's generally correct. Biden, the establishment, and on both sides, let's call it exactly like we see it, are so shook by this. And you can tell, especially when it comes to the response of all of the GOP candidates. It's not just simply the Bidens and the Democrats. No, it's the entire system that's shook. Presidential candidates respond to Trump's third indictment. Mike Pence came out in support of the latest indictment, which that guy's just a whole fucking L at this point. Ron DeSantis, I could pull up his statement, but realistically, it's as toothless as every other statement this dude gives. Just little slides like, oh, I'm gonna drain the swamp, and every other thing that he can go ahead and rip off of one of Trump's previous campaign. You would think all of the pilfering that this dude and his sycophants have done from old Trump campaigns, you would think that they might be able to figure out that maybe that guy had some charisma and maybe DeSantis could go ahead and fake something. But, long story short, he doesn't even mention Trump by name, which was it's on point for him, but it looks very, very poor. But it's the DeSantis campaign. There's only one way, and it's down. Will Turd, I've never even heard of this fuck, gave a horrible statement that claimed Trump was only running to pay his legal bills. No, he's running, and because people support him, they are also paying his legal bills, which is, again, another selling point of Trump. He's going to be going after the system. Tim Scott did not release a statement as of, last night. Nikki Haley, same thing, okay. Francis Suarez, no statement. Chris Christie, I don't know, you couldn't peel him away from the dessert bar long enough. But Vivek Ramaswamy, again, that guy, he is really positioning himself well to either be the VP, Secretary of State, something like that. Get his feet wet, and because DeSantis pissed it all away, really setting himself up well for that 2028 run. And actually, to be completely honest, for as many frauds as has been exposed in this current election cycle, Vivek has definitely proved that he's kind of a real one. Even from some of his early detractors, it's kind of spun it around a little bit, and good thing on him. But before we get more into this current round of indictments, here's one that I want to follow up on here real quick, and it's something that I called at the time, and it's just so nice to take a victory lap and pat myself on the back here for a second. This regards the new charges this stems from the new charges that were from the classified documents case in Mar-a-Lago. January 6th stuff's a little bit different. More on that, obviously, but the classified document situations where they tried to snatch up a third person, a groundskeeper, a maintenance man at Mar-a-Lago, which I kind of just figured it's like, okay, cool. So they have Walt Nauta in that case being a co-conspirator alongside Trump, which if you read the full indictment, the 45-page indictment in regards to the January 6th stuff, there's a whole bunch of co-conspirators that are in there, which is either they've flipped and are working with the government, or there's more additional charges to it's so fucking weird because it's just slapdash. This is just intimidation tactics in order to get Trump to stand down and to appoint somebody who's easily beatable because, well, when it comes to the GOP, it's Trump or bust. It's pretty much what we're seeing now, and especially this is going to be crystallized here, so they're just trying to sow discontent within the Republican Party. But here's what we have in regards to the classified documents case with the 3 additional charges, a handful of additional charges that came out last week. Oh, there's security cam footage that Trump told somebody to delete. And I said at the time, how do you even know? Maybe it's one of those situations where there was nothing to delete. You say that there is something that there is to delete, but in actuality, there's nothing there. And guess what? This is why you tune into the channel, because your boy almost has a fucking crystal ball to pull all this shit up. Is it that Smith's team told Judge Cannon and Trump's lawyers that, oh, you only need to look at the video from May 24th until June 2nd when the alleged obstructive box moving occurred. Cannon called that BS out. Nothing deleted, no conspiracy. So the court and the defense would have to review all of the footage and properly informed about the scope of the footage. I mean, it's not the case that they're going to zoom in on whatever period of time the government isolates as critical. Yeah, guess what? Nothing was deleted, nothing was moved. They were simply just trying to fish once again for some more people to snatch up in this case in order to just paint with that same orange man bad brush. And that's the genesis of all of these charges. It's all done in service of making Trump look bad, trying to run him back into the news cycle. Hey guys, do you remember how bad the orange man was back in 2017 through 2019? He was really bad, right? So you know how bad he is? He broke the law in an unprecedented way. You gotta believe us. Just don't pay attention. You know, you gotta take a look at everything that's in front of your face. Just don't look any deeper than that, or we'll just hold another congressional hearing when it comes to UFOs. Fucking stupid, man. But this, of all places to point this out, you can't actually see it, but you can go ahead and check it if you want, and obviously the links to every article that I'm going to be using will be in the description. Some of the tweets or X's, I don't fucking know. It probably won't be in there, mostly because they're, well, you know, not all that important, but this comes from Axios. Axios of all places. Trump's indictment blocks out Biden's bad news. And there's a lot of bad news when it comes to Joe Biden because it's, well, frankly, it's nothing but bad news. Former President Donald Trump's bombshell 4-count indictment over his attempt to overturn the 2020 election, which, yeah, like I said, it's a 45-page indictment. There's a lot of words that are in it, and a lot of it is basically he said some things that we don't like. Oh, okay, cool. What about the first? Yeah, but he said them, so they're bad. Oh, okay. Election monopolized media and political attention Tuesday evening, overshadowing a string of not-so-great stories for President Biden. Exactly. Like how the U.S. credit rating just got downgraded. Bet you didn't hear about that. What about Tucker Carlson just also talking with Devin Archer on top of Devin Archer's closed-door testimony to Congress about the intrinsic linking of Joe with Hunter in regards to the nefarious business dealings of the first son. Yeah, don't need to pay attention to that because Trump is getting hit with another 4-count indictment. Big shock that Trump ends up taking the headlines while Biden can just, oh yeah, we reported on it, but Trump, more about Trump at 11 because Trump drives views and Biden, well, he no longer can drive himself. Nearly simultaneously with the indictment being filed, Fitch Ratings downgraded the U.S. credit rating, citing the country's deteriorating fiscal proposition and political instability. Yeah, exactly. And you know what helps with that political instability? Trying to jail your chief rival and a former sitting United States president. The White House was quick to argue that the deterioration occurred under Trump. Yeah, if it occurred under Trump, what is it? 1, 2, 3 years into Biden's presidency, and you guys haven't figured this shit out already. 3 fucking years you've been there, my guy. It's clear that extremism by Republican officials. Which ones? Which ones exactly? Because all of the Republican officials that I'm seeing talking either have no teeth or they completely fucking roll over whenever pressed to do something, so doesn't really stick. From cheerleading default to undermining governance and democracy to seeking to extend deficit-busting tax giveaways for the wealthy and corporations, it continued to be a threat to our economy. So the people that aren't in charge, okay, interesting. The people who actually want to make money, lower taxes, in theory, those are the ones that are deleterious to the economy, according to gay black lady. Oh, yeah, press secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, that fucking palm tree-headed idiot. Yeah, hours before, the Washington Post reported that border officials are seeing a rise in illegal border crossings after a bit of a lull, which who really knows what a lull would be at this point in time. But yeah, here's the thing. And here's the thing. Depending on which poll you look at, either Biden's tied with or he's trailing Trump in just about every single poll that's out there. New polling shows Trump and Biden neck and neck, and still a hypothetical 2020 rematch. Exactly. And if Biden was getting the fair coverage to the actual corrupt shit that he's doing, as opposed to, well, Trump said some things that are all on video camera that have been well researched, well investigated over the previous 2.5 years, and you couldn't come up with anything. But now all of a sudden you're gonna get a special prosecutor, somebody who has never won a fucking case, to come forward and end up sussing out all of the important issues. Sure thing. Such things like, okay, one of the charges, oh, Trump tried to intimidate people to discredit their ability to vote because that's a human right. Wait, so okay, everything's stemming from January 6th. Trump was trying to retroactively discourage people from voting. Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? So yeah, as Michael Tracy points out, and if you want to take a look at a much more in-depth analysis of the indictment itself, Michael Tracy has been digging through this shit, and oh my god, he's been finding some great stuff. So I just got a couple of tweets pulled out from him because they're fantastic. Wait, those right to vote whose right to vote did Trump interfere with? Who was impeded from casting a vote in the 2020 election because of interference by Trump? Yeah, the guy who said, come out and vote for me and don't vote for my opposition because I think he has bad ideas. Was that disenfranchising people? Not entirely sure. Is this supposed to be an indictment or a screechy op-ed? Well, the way that it's written, at least by people who have read it over, have kind of sided with the latter of that. Yes, charging Trump under a post-Civil War statute designed to stop the Klan from terrorizing newly enfranchised Southern blacks is insane. Just like charging him under the 1917 Espionage Act is insane. Yeah, exactly. So Jack Smith is using Reconstruction era shit, but he couldn't find a way to try to charge Trump under something that could hook him under the 14th Amendment, because you know this motherfucker tries, okay? But yeah, the latest indictment is completely insane. They have literally charged, not like has a 14-year-old girl use it, literally the world is ending, but literally charged Trump under the Civil Rights Act of 1866. That's what they're trying to get him on. They have nothing. They have absolutely fucking nothing on Trump. Same thing, same charges, same situation, different fucking day. That's the only thing. They hate Trump so much, and that's what's galvanizing people. You fuckers don't get it. I'm a Trump guy, like 100% full transparency on this. I haven't been one of these fair weather Trump guys, even though I wasn't on the internet back in 2015. My story is when I was hearing the way that the media was trying to characterize him is like, oh, did you hear that Trump said that all Mexicans are rapists and criminals? It's like, yeah, I don't think somebody running for president would actually say some fuck shit like that. Let me go check this out. And then hearing everything in context and the way that they continued to attack him, it's like, that's my guy. Even though growing up with the same first name, I know, right? Don is short for Donald. Oh, big shock on that one. The only person growing up, it was him, it was Donald Trump, or it was Donald Sutherland, who you could look up to. Is like, who's got the same first name as you? Who's a famous person? And it's like, oh, the weird real estate dude from New York who's a bit of a lecherous fucker who just runs a reality show. Okay, but then when you start to look through his history, he's a rather inspiring guy who's accomplished a hell of a lot in including ascending to the highest office in the free fucking world. So yeah, I didn't dip like the rest of those Daily Wire crew did in on and around 2020 and then have this revisionist history that actually it wasn't so good under Trump. It's like, no, I have long enough term memory to realize that the world was doing better with Trump in the Oval Office as opposed to the establishment coming back with a vengeance. So that's why Trump has worldwide support and nobody else. Nobody else is the answer for 2024. So yeah, what's going to happen from the Trump side? Because, okay, outside of just a few different posts on Truth Social, Trump really hasn't said all that much, mostly because he's just trying to cross his T's, dot his I's, and just try to make sense of this entire situation. And it's like, yeah, we knew that they would be coming after me, but this fucking hard, really? And with this evidence? Come on, man. Trump lawyer Lauro. Okay, Trump will subpoena everyone to prove his innocence. This includes subpoenaing Mark Zuckerberg, who provided the Zuckbucks, and the 51 former intelligence officers who claimed the laptop from hell was Russian disinformation. No stone left unturned. Exactly, man. He's got the funds, and he's also got a constant stream of income for everybody who's seeing this absolute fuckery befall him. And it's like, okay, cool. If he's going to go ahead and burn down the system, I'm gonna fuck with that guy because he gets it. And this is also another tactic where, oh, okay, cool. If you're going to subpoena everyone, if you're going to be lumping U-Haul trucks full of discovery at the federal government, this stretches this shit out long enough to go well past the 2024 election. Yet another tactic and something that only a very wealthy, very well-off man can do. Which is, God, there's so many things that you can learn from this situation. It's like, okay, cool. If they can do this a former president, for Christ's sakes, somebody who is leading in just about every single poll, not just in his own party's nomination process, but in a theoretical general election, if it were to be held today. They can do that to him. At least he has the ability to fight back. They can do this to everyone, and that's what Biden wanted to do. You guys remember those, 87,000 new IRS agents? So yeah, anybody who comes out publicly to support Trump like that, you know exactly what those IRS agents were going to do. It wasn't going to be fucking support staff, okay? It wasn't going to be making sure that everybody has the appropriate toilet brush and had enough bathroom tissue, okay? It wasn't going to be maintenance staff. These were going to be motherfuckers going after political rivals like it's back in the Obama days. So yeah, while we don't know everything specifically, we know who the judge is. The judge who's been assigned to this case that's going to be taking place in D.C. And I've also seen a lot of things going back and forth in regards to why is this happening in D.C.? So we understand the January 6th riots were going down there. But if you're going to be charging Trump of conspiracy and a whole lot of hearsay, a bunch of goofy stuff like that, why in D.C.? Why in D.C.? Why not jurisdiction that's more befitting of the defendant? Why not Florida? Oh, because the D.C. circuit courts are completely staffed with Obama sycophants. Oh, that totally makes sense now, doesn't it? The judge in the January Trump J6 case, an Obama appointee and donor, no conflict of interest there, worked at the same law firm as Hunter Biden. You can't make this shit up. This is the level of contempt they have for the Constitution, the rule of law, and you. Exactly. The contempt for the Constitution is fairly fucking obvious. They're basing a lot of their claims of the 4 counts that are there, the immediate defense, and guys like Alan Dershowitz and Jonathan Turley have already said, okay, even if Trump he is found guilty of any of those charges, the Supreme Court automatically overturns it because it's just basic freedom of speech and freedom of expression. Like, the First Amendment totally takes care of this. I don't understand this clown show. But you totally understand it, right? You totally get why they would bring these charges, the audacity that they have right there. Like, okay, Biden knew he couldn't forgive student loan debt. He knew that he couldn't implement a vaccine mandate, but they fucking tried it anyways. This is what leftists do. This is what the establishment does. See how much they can get away with. Even if they know they're totally in the wrong, they will just go ahead and throw the claims out there. They will just go ahead and assert their authority until somebody has the ability and the audacity to fight back. We know that that doesn't come from the GOP. They are just total fucking suckers and losers and waiting for controversy to come up in order to make make it a re-election talking point. Fuck the GOP. Fuck Republicans. But you know who does have the audacity, the ability, the time? Oh, they got time today, cuz, and the teeth to actually fight back because they might, I don't know, give a fuck about the country, give a fuck about freedom. All right, that guy's Trump. You guys picked the wrong fucking target this time around. I swear to God, November 2024 is going to be the funnest fucking time on earth, and I can't wait for it. All of these charges will not stick. It will not work. And even if they do, throw him in a jail cell. He will be elected, and they will have to let him out for inauguration. And you can scream from the fucking rooftops, oh, there's a criminal in the White House. Why wait that long? There's one already there. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.